You're listening to the Gabe Molina Podcast.
That's an original country
That's
song.
An original one?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that's
I write
really
rock,
good.
I write country, I write poems. I don't write poems, but I guess songs are like poems, right?
I was going to say that, yeah.
I don't write poems. I wish I could. I don't have that kind of talent.
Do you play, well, we'll get into it in a minute.
Okay.
All right, that's rolling. That's, if you can see yourself,
I sure can.
that's rolling.
Wow. We're we're saturated here.
Man, let me tell you something. You can use it if you want. You don't have
Yeah,
to.
no, I would love to.
You talk about being camera saturated.
Uh-huh.
So when I first started the podcast,
Oh, yeah, I hear you perfect. That's beautiful.
Okay, good.
Yes.
when I first started, I didn't know what I was doing, and so I went through so many cameras, spent maxed out
money,
the
yeah.
Best Buy credit card, but I kind of got an idea. I would have done it differently, but I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah, hey, bro. I'm going to be honest with you, one of the better setups I've seen. So, yeah, you got it going on.
Man, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
It's been a nightmare. My wife hates me for it too. But I tell you what, we'll get started here in a second.
Pero hermanas no son drogas.
Yeah.
Could be spending your money on other stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
No, see, hay muchas more bad things that you could be doing. So,
Yeah.
this is a beautiful thing
We
you're doing,
can't
my
take
friend.
it with you, so
Yeah, andale, exactly right. You can't take it with you. What are you going to do?
no, sir. I tell you what, let's.
The Bears.
Well, you know what? My wife actually,
Excuse me.
she teaches at a school called, they're called the Bears. My dad's name
Bear?
was Bear. So
It
this is my mom's initials, Maria del Carmen. And then dad was Vidal Valdez Molina.
Wow.
And I'm my mom's only kid. My dad had 5 other kids. So that's the toes, or 4 other kids.
I got you.
But when they got married was when we became a family, which was 76. And then when I first got that tattoo,
beautiful.
Yeah, when I first got it, people were like, "Did you love it? Don't you want to get more?" And I was like, "No, it hurts, man. It hurts. I ain't trying to get any more tattoos. You're crazy."
Yeah. I got a few tattoos too, man. I got just
Oh yeah, you went all out.
This was, believe it or not, this was pick.
Oh really?
You know what pick is?
No. Oh really?
One at a time, bro. Everything you see here was pick.
Who did that for
with
you?
a staple.
Really?
A guy named Gigi from Mathis, Texas.
Oh really?
I paid him a couple bags of chips and
Hey, I'm from Georgia West. I've moved a lot of people for a big drink and a bag of chips.
yeah, believe it or not. And he was great. He was very talented.
Yeah.
So he did it for me, and yeah, man. And then this one over here, I got another guy do it too.
Oh, that's pretty.
Do it for me, and then I had this one was a friend of mine. He was young, and he was a very talented artist. And he was like, "I want to be a tattoo artist." I said, "You know what?" Because I'm like that too. I'm like, "You know what? I'll help you out, bro. I'll buy you the tattoo machine. Just give me a little tattoo."
Yeah.
And this was what he did for me.
That's cool.
And I bought him the tattoo machine, and he didn't become a tattoo artist, but he went on to he works on those big windmills, making great money. So
Oh, really?
But yeah, I mean, I always thought he had a talent, so
Yeah.
I figured, it was like $150 for at the time I was truck driving. I had feria, and I was like, yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
Just give me a tattoo, and this is what he did for me.
Well, you know what's hard is, and I was thinking about this earlier. I really appreciate folks that throw themselves into the arts, whether it's music or tattooing or painting or sculpting or whatever it may be, because
sir.
you gotta love it, man. Because money is a good distraction, and it'll take you from your passion if you don't control that. And like, there's so many things I love to do and I don't do any of them because I'm always working. Always working.
Yes,
and this is the job I'm at now. It's the first job where I've made decent money. And I was telling my wife the other day, it sucks because I'm finally making decent money. It's not great, but it's decent.
Yeah.
I said, but I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. Like, and I have to control myself because I still got bills.
Of course. Like they say, eso nunca se acaba.
No.
Unfortunately.
But I want to be like you and those folks that just throw themselves in. I got a buddy named, he's from Georgia West, named Chuck Breseño. And he's a country guy.
Breseño, I've heard that last name before.
Yeah, there's a few of them in Georgia West.
Yes, sir.
And It was interesting because one day he just sold everything and threw himself into it 100%. And now he's doing it full time.
Right.
And it's like, oh, man, I wish I had the guts, man.
I kind of had to do that because, like I said, I was a truck driver for many years. Y luego dije, pues, I mean, you know, it's truck driving or music. And, I mean, truck driving, not that it will always be there because eventually you can get, you know, you won't be able to drive either. But
yeah.
I felt like with the music, I had less time than with the truck driving, you know. So yeah, I basically said I'm going to go for it. And I started writing and putting everything together. And then I was able to meet up with Mark and all that good stuff. And
how did that hookup come? Because your dad was a musician too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell everybody who your dad was.
Okay, yeah.
First of all, we just jumped into this.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Rene Ramirez. How do you want me to say your name?
Rene Ramirez, Rene Ramirez. It doesn't matter to me. It's
Y Maduro.
Y Maduro, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Well, I'll tell you what. Like you said, my name's Rene Ramirez. I have a band called Maduro, and we're signed with Freddie Records, ¿verdad? And it's been awesome, dude. Like I say, those guys have opened doors for me and treated me like family, ¿verdad?
Good.
So that's a beautiful thing. Pero you know, when I first signed with them, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going to get ahead of myself. I want to let everybody know where I come from, ¿verdad? My musical history, my background. My dad era Jose Perfecto Ramirez, which he hated that name, Perfecto, but I always say he was Perfecto. In my book, nobody's perfect, right? But in my book, El Jefe era Perfecto. Pero como que era, everybody knew him by Pico Ramirez, ¿verdad? Pico Ramirez, and he was original gambler con Rubén Naranjo y los Gamblers. He played bajo sexto and sang la segunda voz como todas esas rolas de compañero prisionero, tú que estás aquí conmigo, or y por esa calle vive la que a mí me abandonó. Right, all those hits with Rubén, my dad recorded them, and I got to be a part of, but not a part of the recordings and stuff, but I got to see him and cómo se comportaba. My dad was very professional, man. He always, you know, como dices, se presentaba muy bien con todos, and so that's where I come from that. Y también ahorita, I got my little brother, Roger Ramirez. He plays with Ricky Naranjo now.
Okay.
So he followed the tradition. He also plays the bajo sexto and sings the segunda voz like my dad.
Awesome.
Y nosotros también tocamos la música de Rubén y todo, pero I had this opportunity to actually be able to put out my music con Freddie Records. And, you know, so it's one of those things where I had to jump on it. I had
man.
to, yes, sir. And so far, everything has been a blessing.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. That sounds super familiar from my childhood, right? Where does that come from? Does it come from parts of Mexico, or is it from the area? And I get a little nostalgic, right? Because we're both from South Texas.
That's right.
And I tell everybody it's so different being from South Texas. And I don't know if it's the caliche or the mesquite wood or the heat. But it's funny because when Mark told me about you, I started doing some research. And then when I saw you from Alice and some of the guys from San Diego, I was like, oh, I already know these guys.
Exactly.
So where's that sound from?
Well, the sound that my dad and Rubén had, that conjunto sound, ¿verdad? Ahí, like they say, Alice is the birthplace of conjunto, Alice, Texas. But my dad told me a long time ago, no, mijo, esas canciones, those songs that me and Rubén recorded, eran canciones viejas cuando yo estaba chiquito. So those were folk songs, in other words, because back then there was some recordings, but not everything was recorded the way it would go about. Eran la gente en los ranchos, ¿verdad? From rancho to rancho to rancho to rancho. And these songs were written by people, and they'd be like, mira, escribí esta canción, and they'd start playing it, and somebody else would learn it, and it would. So yeah, those songs are, like I said, my dad, he was 76 or 77 when he passed away. So you're talking about how old was he when he was young? And those songs were already old when he was young. So yeah, pero ese estilo, ese sound, las canciones, las letras eran, you know, old, pero Rubén le puso a little that little, you know, sound.
A little flair to it.
Yeah, and that became el sonido de Alice, Texas, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where that music comes from. And on my part, I write a lot of my stuff. But I tell everybody, like I have this one song that was on my first album. But if I like to show everybody, I go, cuando te conocí, me enamoré de ti y todo era tan bonito, pero el amor lo manda al destino. The name of the song is No Vale la Pena. No vale la pena estar yo sufriendo, no vale la pena si ya no hay remedio, porque si no pude darte lo mejor, tal vez yo me marcho y busca un nuevo amor. My bad. But the point was,
it's beautiful, man.
The point is that if you pay attention, it goes, me estoy jugando la suerte, me estoy jugando la vida. It's basically the same song. La traigo casi perdida, pero soy necio en quererte, mientras que tu alma se aleja. Yo pienso en volver a verte, no vale la pena estar yo sufriendo. So I always say it's different but the same, ¿verdad? We have a joke in the studio. We have a joke in the studio when we record, and we always say it's different but the same. So it's all traditional. But when you write your own stuff, ¿verdad? Like myself, I always incorporate all that because it's what I grew up with.
What is your process for writing? Like, I guess figuratively and literally, what is your You got to get away from people. What is that process? And when you can actually put pen to paper, mentally, do you kind of go into a space? Is there a formula where you go, hey, I want to pay homage to some of the older guys, or maybe even something to my dad? And what is that like for you when you sit there and put pen to paper?
Yes, sir. Well, I have basically three things that I do. It's either, the first one is I write the song, I'll sit down, and like you said, usually when I'm by myself, because of course it's hard to write when you got things to do and all that. But I'll take some time and I'll sit down, and if I get an idea, I'll start writing, and usually it comes out. If it comes out all in one shot, boom, it's done, ¿verdad?
Does that happen often?
Majority of the time that happens, because when I get a good idea, it's like if I'm not, because I look back and I'm like, I wrote that. I do. I look back and I'm like, I wrote that. Like, what the heck? Because it's in that moment, it's like I don't know what it is. It's just and then I've even gone as far as and this song is a song that I wrote, and I wrote it for my dad when he passed away. And I've never performed it. I've performed it a bunch of times at funerals because people have heard it and they're like, oh, you got to play that song at funerals. That song, this is a true story. I was asleep and I was having a dream or something. And I woke up, and I used to have always next to me one of those yellow pads.
Oh, yeah.
And I woke up and I wrote something, and then I threw the pad and I fell back asleep. And I'm not going to lie, I might have been a little bit drunk too. Pero, in the morning I woke up. And I got up, and then I was in the bathroom, and I said, washing my face, and one night, and I wrote something last night, and I went and I picked it up, and this is what I wrote. And it was a song, like I said, it's a song that I wrote for my dad, and maybe one day I'll record it here, and I want to though, but I'm gonna share it with everybody, so maybe if it can help somebody. Y dice. For you, Dad. Todo se acaba, nada queda igual, aunque no deseas, todo termina, pero tú y yo seremos para siempre. Tan solo en mis sueños te vuelvo a mirar, recordando tiempos que no volverán, que tuve el privilegio de decirte amor por solo un momento, para para toda la vida. Y no puedo más seguir así, sin saber en dónde estás. Y aunque cambie el mundo entero, yo te seguiré amando, porque eres tú el que siempre voy a amar. Y todo cambia, todo cambia, tú eres igual. Pasan los años y yo te sigo amando como si fuera ayer, como si fuera ayer. Pasan los años y yo te sigo amando como si fuera ayer, como si fuera ayer.
That's beautiful, Rene.
Thank you, sir.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm a little jealous of you because I would love to have the ability to write something that pretty for somebody I love. And that's a beautiful song, man.
Unfortunately, I've had to do it so many times, bro.
Yeah.
It's still tough for me, man, because I you know, everybody loves their parents, right?
Yeah.
Pero no, it's a beautiful song, and like I said, and I'm sorry I got off topic.
No.
Because you asked me about my writing process,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I just wanted to show you sometimes the songs just come.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, I'll write stuff and I'll put it away and come back to it later. And the last one is I'll just kind of like, I literally do this like,
Getting after it, huh?
you know, I've just, and boom, I'll hear one note, and I'm like, there it is.
Really?
And I'll start messing with that note, and then from that note comes lyrics, and then the beat, you know, and it all comes together. But it just so happens like I'll just, and I can't really do it in front of people, I guess, but when it's by myself, the magic happens. I don't know how to explain it.
So I guess a lot of times it's I guess for somebody like me, we think that you guys will sit down and just hammer out a song, and I guess sometimes that does happen.
It does.
But sometimes I guess your creativity, it comes in like little spurts, and so I guess the important thing is to capture that that creativity.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
When I was truck driving, I would carry. Well, you know, back then, the phones weren't like they are now.
Yeah.
I literally would carry a little tape recorder, and I'd be, you know, recording whatever ideas I had. But it does happen that way. Like on this new album, my brother Roger and I wrote a song together. Well, he had it's like one of those things. He had a part of the song that was there, and then he said, "Man, but I think it's missing something." And I told the guys, somebody have a phone, record this, because I'm going to put the other part that you need, but I will never remember the words again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we started the song, and I sang that part, and then we heard it, and we wrote it, and then that became the song. So
That's cool.
because I would never remember it. I could see, like, I'm going to feel it from my heart, but once I have said it,
Yeah. It's gone.
it's gone.
Yeah.
So we need to capture it. You know what I'm saying?
That's the hard part,
That's
right?
the hard part, capturing it.
Because it like you said, it sounds like you could almost feel it coming. And it was wise of you to go, hey, let's record this.
Yeah,
real
because
quick.
I said I'm gonna write this part that you need, but we need it, and that song is actually on this new album. Yeah.
What's the new album called?
En La Parranda.
Okay, that's
Yes,
right.
sir. That's actually one of the tracks on the song. It's a cumbia.
Yeah.
It's doing very well for us. It actually goes, and there's a cool story behind this song as well. You know, we were talking earlier before the show started. And
Yeah,
everything.
well, I think we did a podcast before we did
Oh
the
yeah,
podcast.
we did a whole podcast before we did the podcast.
I
easily.
feel bad for your wife and your son.
It's okay. They're good. They're good. It's all, como dice, es parte de la sopa, como dice.
Yeah.
But no, the story behind En La Parranda, because it's a party song, right? Pero it came from not a party place, because like I say, there's times and everybody that goes through it, and if you have never gone through anything bad, God bless you, ¿verdad? And I wish and I hope and I pray that you never do. But for all of us that have been through stuff, this song, I was going through some stuff, ¿verdad? Yeah. And I was in a very, not a bad place, because I never let myself get depressed like that. I don't let myself get depressed because no gano nada con eso.
Sure.
But I was in a bad place, you know? And I had just gone through divorce and whatnot. And I was at my mom's house, me acuerdo, and you talk about, I hadn't been there in years, and I'm going through the closet and, you know, just finding old stuff that was mine, and I found a guitar. I don't remember if it was mine or not, but it was a guitar, and it only had one string. Y luego aquí, on the Val Bridge, it had a plastic fork to hold the...
Oh, really?
En lugar de, you know, the bone that goes there, put a plastic fork. And so I got it, and it only had that one string, and I started... Cuando me encuentro triste y sin amor, yo sé lo que tengo que hacer. Tengo que hallar un buen compás para poder sentirme bien y el amor de una linda mujer. En la parranda, en la parranda, en la parranda es donde quiero estar. En la parranda, en la parranda, en la parranda me puedes levantar. So yeah, that song came from
That's cool.
A dark time in my life.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, whenever I'm feeling down and depressed, I know what I got to do. I got to find me a pretty girl and a good beat. And that's where that same song came from.
Yeah.
And si me buscas, me vas a hallar en la parranda, because I'm not going to be depressed forever.
Yeah. You think your art and your talent has been there for you
most definitely
when you needed it, I guess, to kind of help lift you up. You know, sometimes we get in a little funk, right?
Oh yeah.
And you just need a little spark to get the fire going. So
yes, sir.
I wonder if that's just kind of your way of doing those things.
I think it is, because ever since I was a kid, I've been doing this. This is like some of the stories that I thought I'd never tell anybody. That's why I like podcasts, because I get to say, when I was a kid, this is something that I've been doing since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I would write stories, right? And I'm not talking about like a half a page story. I'm talking about 70 pages, right? And I think I was like in 3rd or 4th grade, and I got so good at it that every day, I went to school in Orange Grove, Texas. Every day they'd make an hour. At the end of the day, where all the classes would come together, and I'd stand in front and read those stories. And this became a tradition. It got so advanced that by the end, the high schoolers were making plays with my stories.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I've always had that, but to me, that was like how I made friends and how I, you know, kind of. So because I grew up on a rancho, really straight up 5,000 acre ranch in the middle of nowhere, and ran around barefoot, tu sabes, el caliche and all. The whole, I mean, my feet were like leather, bro. I could run across caliche and like nothing. Now I can't even step on a piece of salt because I'm like, my foot, right? You know. Pero en esos tiempos, so when I first went to school, yo ni sabía inglés. I didn't even know English.
Oh, really?
Because my grandma was speaking pure Spanish to me. So lo que como, I mean, I might be exaggerating, but I feel like it was like in a month or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah.
I was reading and writing better than everybody in class because it's just something that I enjoy. Now math, no good, no bueno, right? But lo que es
so
writing and all that.
Is that where your love for writing came?
I think so.
I guess learning English.
Maybe that's what it was.
It just kind of mixed together, or were your parents or your grandmother writers? Did anybody else write?
Well, now that you mentioned that, I'm glad you brought that up because my grandmother, I used to take walks with her. Y me acuerdo, ella iba andando and she'd be like, she would point at something, she'd be like, la pierdita, ahí está. La pierdita, mírala. Right? You know what I'm saying? And she would just, and so I think that's where the creativity came from, right? And she would just sing about anything, like butterfly, anything.
Oh, she sounds like a sweet lady,
she was, man, my grandma, bro. Whew, I tell you what, she was, I was her consentido, right? But, you know, I say I was her consentido because I would take the time to be with her.
Sure.
You know, I would spend time with her and listen to her and all her stories and go get her cigarros and all that stuff. You know, anda tráeme mis cigarros, mijo. And back then, the little pouches, right? With the, oh, dude, I miss those days. But you know what? I know she's with me. And you know, there's not a night. Well, there might be a few nights that I fall asleep, but I always try to pray for my mom, my dad, my grandma, all my primos, prima, anybody who I've lost. I even go as far as to pray or ask God to open the gates of heaven, because I've done so many funerals, my friend. Muchos funerales. I mean, too many, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Y siempre digo, I might not remember everybody, pero siempre pido por ellos.
Yeah.
Que Dios les abra las puertas del cielo, if they're not already there, right? You know? And hopefully one day somebody will ask for me, because, you know, pero if they don't, no problem. I'm doing my thing.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by Mobilize Beast. If you're in need of a sports massage therapist in the San Antonio area, go see my buddy Ryan Harness at Mobilize Beast. You can find him on Instagram at Mobilize Beast. This is not your average foo-foo massage. Ryan is going to make it hurt oh so good. So if you're in need of a sports massage therapist in San Antonio, hit up Ryan at Mobilize Beast. What is your approach for playing funerals? Because I've known a few people. I've got some mariachi friends that do a lot of funerals, and I'll be honest with you, there was a time where my mother-in-law had passed away, and I started doing this thing where I would make shirts and T-shirts, and I had a little logo for it, and I called it Los Peleoneros because they were all fighting cancer, right?
Right, good. That's beautiful. Yes, I like that.
My dad hated it till I told him what it meant. He's like, "Oh, okay, that's better." But you know, it's interesting because I would give stuff to people who were sick, or some of the money that I'd raised, I'd give it to MD Anderson or give it to them. But man, I tell you what, it got heavy after a while. And so like people like my friends that do the mariachi and you, how do you keep from getting overwhelmed by doing so many funerals? Or do you look at it differently? I'll be honest with you. I know from talking to you earlier, you've been through some things and you carry some weight with you. But your attitude and your demeanor is very high. You know, I'm a little bit weird. I am, and this sounds terrible to say, and I probably shouldn't. My dad would be upset, but like I get comfortable, and I shouldn't in the sorrow.
Right.
Like I don't know what it is, and like I told you that year that I had a difficult time after Dad passed. Like I was just comfortable in the sorrow, and so I think that when I was doing the Los Peleoneros things, it just got real heavy, man. And because I carried a lot of what people were going through with me. How do you avoid that? Because, or do you approach it differently? Is it an uplifting thing and that you're paying homage to somebody who's passed away and their loved ones are there?
Well, you know what? That is a beautiful way to look at it. I guess I kind of do look at it like that, because I say to myself, you know, this is what the family wants, and if I could do that for them, I'm going to do it, right? But I mean, because no hay muchos que hacen esto ya.
Sure.
You know, it's people are, but it's still a tradition, and la gente quiere mandar su loved one con música, right? Or if they love to party, sometimes, because I usually play like Al Pie de la Tumba or something like that, but sometimes they'll ask me to play a different song that he loved or she loved or whatever it might be. But the way I do it, my friend, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, is I show up at the cemetery and I say hello to everybody, and I tell them, hello, hey, no disrespect, I'm here to esta persona, you know, and God bless you all, and you know, and it keeps it from. I feel welcome, not welcome, but like at peace. Right. That's the word I'm looking for. Not welcome, but at peace. And I feel like by doing, because I always pray to God before I start, and I say, let me put the best performance that I can for these people. And nobody sees this. I'm standing there. I'm already standing there, but in my mind, all this is going on. And I say, let me, the best that I could do, God, for these people, because it's their loved one, right? So I want to do the best that I can do for them. And I pray my Our Father. And at the end, I say, just let me do everything in your name as good as I can. And gracias a Dios, you know, so far, I've been able to do that. And like I said, the song, I play a little piece of it, a song that I normally play. It's a song that my dad actually recorded with Rubén Naranjo.
Okay.
Yeah, and when I did the Johnny Canales show, Johnny dijo, esa canción se la cantó tu papá y Rubén a mi mamá cuando falleció, ¿verdad?
Wow.
Yes, sir.
That's
Johnny
awesome.
was a good friend of the family, pero como que era, y también que en paz descanse, Johnny. This is for you too, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Me fui al cementerio a soltar el llanto pa' ver si llorando te puedo olvidar. Ahora comprendo que es imposible, porque ya ni muerto te dejo de amar. Dormido y te sueño y despierto y te miro, muy dentro de mi alma siempre vivirás. No puedo olvidarte, yo quiero seguirte, que me lleves lejos a donde tú estés. Y dice, al pie de la tumba, mirando hacia el cielo, quisiera escuchar tu voz, quisiera abrazarte, quisiera besarte, pero es imposible, tú ya estás con Dios.
That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And like I said, unfortunately, I've had to sing that song too many times, including for my dad.
Sure.
But you know what? Like I said, I take a little comfort in that. You know, that I sent him off with a song, you know, and not only that, but like I said, my dad set me up for success because and I always say, los consejos que me dio mi papá y mi mamá, todavía they still come good for me. You know, I still hear them in my mind. I think I told you that earlier.
Yeah.
And I speak to them the way I'm speaking to you.
I do the same, man.
Yeah, you have to. You have to, because they're here and they're hearing us. They can hear you.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that in my heart. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But if I feel it, that's what I'm going to do.
Let me ask you something.
Yes, sir.
You're the professional, so I'm going to ask you.
Semi-pro.
No, you're the professional. You're what is it about? And is it just because of the memories that we music brings back memories?
Yes, it does.
What is it about the sad songs, man, that makes us love them the most?
Right.
Is it the emotion that we get out of those memories, or what is it that you see in people when you play a sad song? And because you're looking at the folks that you're playing for, so you know we're watching you. You're getting the feedback from everybody listening to you. What is it behind the sad songs, man, that we love so much?
I think it's, and this is just my opinion, right? I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I think it's probably...
Hey, first of all, you're in a podcast, so everything we say is fact.
Is absolutely correct. Everything on the internet is true, right?
Yes,
so
he's never been more right.
I concur. No. Mira, my thing is, I think it's because it allows us to heal. That's what I think. It allows us to hurt and then say, pero no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Maybe not at first, but the more and more and more, and then 5 years later and 6 years, they say time heals all wounds, ¿verdad? You never forget, though. I mean, to me, I still remember the last conversation me and my dad had, you know what I'm saying? I remember I was tapping his back and I said, Dad, no te agüites, Dad. You won. You won at the game of life, Dad.
Yeah.
You won at the game. Nadie te mató. Yeah. You raised your family. No, you didn't. You weren't a screw up. Tú ganaste el juego de la vida.
Yeah.
And I hope that brought him a little bit of comfort. But those were the last words I got to say to my dad.
Yeah.
Those words right there. And he told me, sí, mijo, pero ayer escupí sangre, dijo. And I said, no te mortifiques, that you're going to get better. But unfortunately, that's not what God wanted, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Pero, I tried to be there for him. And I'll tell you another story. And I'm sorry that we're making this all about that.
No, man. No.
The day he passed away, my friend, it was the COVID was on big time. We had to get suited up and all that to go in there.
Yeah.
Just to see him. And his body was laying there. And I went to him and lo persiné. Nomás lo persiné. Se vino un aguacero, bro.
Really?
I mean, pouring, like, look out the window, you couldn't see 5 feet. And, I mean, that I know of, when I showed up there, I didn't see no rain clouds, and it wasn't like a cloudy day.
Yeah.
Nomás lo persiné, I mean, instantly. En nombre del Padre, el Hijo y el Espíritu Santo le dije, y I heard como que that's what he needed.
Yeah.
¿Me entiendes? I had to go in and do that. And that's the truth. All that really happened. Una vez yo estaba muy malo, and una señora me dijo, yo te voy a aliviar, pero me voy a morir yo. She told me that. And I was like, because my mom had contacted her, por favor, ayúdale a mi hijo. You know how we...
Sure.
Right. Y dijo la señora, y todo lo que quiero es un rosal de rosas. Y lo voy a plantar enfrente de mi casa. Well, I got better, bro. And she passed away.
Wow.
And I drive by the house, and that rose... It's huge now.
Really?
Yes. And she told me, I'm going to do it porque tú tienes algo importante que hacer en esta vida. And I was like, don't do that to me, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
It's a lot of weight to put on somebody.
But
that's also a lot of love too.
I think that my thing was to go and bless my dad. That was my important thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, other stuff too, but
sure.
That one thing to me was the thing that I needed to do for my dad.
Well, you think about your career and your family and everything. And I think one day when you're 90 years old and you're looking back on things, we always think about the things we want to have, but then when you look back and you think about getting to bless your dad like that, like
those are
nothing can beat that, man. Nothing.
I wish I had him still, but just that alone it brought some peace to my heart.
Yeah.
And I think I might be telling too much, right?
Well,
I'm getting too personal here, but it's.
Well, what's nice. What's nice is that you're an entertainer, right?
I try to be.
You put on a show. People have a good time. They dance. You help distract people from their daily, the daily things that consume their lives. Right. You're a break from the monotony.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Right.
But what people need to understand is all that comes from somewhere, right? And so some of the best talent and some of the most skilled people and some of the best songs come from a place that carry a lot of weight, man.
Right.
And I think it's important for people to not sit there and judge or say, hey, it's this or it's that, but it's what makes up Rene Ramirez,
yes,
right? It's what's built you. It's your family history. It's the things that you've endured. It's all these little things come together, and that's what you take on stage, right? People don't see that, most of those things.
Oh no,
but they need to understand that
right.
that this is the important thing that I want people to understand is when somebody sees somebody like you putting your heart on the stage, entertaining folks, you're not any different than anybody else.
Oh, no.
You've got sorrows. You have things you've been through. You've had things you've endured. You've had life issues. So have they. And what people need to understand is when you're performing and we're watching, there's that connection there, right? And it's more than just the song. It's like I told you. I text Mark and I was like, the dude's from Alice? And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh man, I can't wait now.
Exactly.
I started doing some research and I was like, he's a South Texas guy.
Yes.
And it's like when you feel connected like that, you enjoy the art more. And I think that's what people need to take from this. It's not us, putting out our sad stories, but everybody has them and everybody needs to know that so do we,
Exactly. And like you said, it's one of those things where when I write those songs, it's therapy for me too.
Sure.
It's like, and then when I get to show somebody a song and if they like it, it's like another little, thank you, Jesus. What I'm doing is having some kind of impact, and it's a beautiful thing, man. But it's just, like I said, I'm sorry that I kind of went off on, but I miss my dad.
Sure.
And you know what I'm talking about because we connected on that right away.
And again,
and
like
we're
I
actually
said,
the same age, and I was born 76. Yeah, that's what I said, we did. Pero no, man, I mean, it's just one of those things. But I really, what I can say is that I learned from my dad. The one thing that I learned from my dad, and a lot of stuff, también, like you say, it's within me, pero ponerle the feeling behind the song, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
You have to do that porque la gente, they connect to that, and when you connect with somebody, it's like you're in the same, and you feel that. I don't know how to explain it, but when you're connected like that, it's you're flowing, bro.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
flowing and it's beautiful, and the people are having a great time, and so you're just like it's on, and that's beautiful. But no, I mean it's just one of those things.
Let me ask you this. How are you balancing? This is the crazy thing about music, right? You spend your life writing songs and writing poems or writing stories,
right?
And you dedicate your life to instruments, and eventually, because I see a lot of young people. There's a lot of young people come out of Georgia West, a lot of Texas country style guys.
Yes, sir.
And it's interesting because I love to observe behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like. You're young, you dedicate yourself to the writing, you dedicate yourself to the music, the singing, the guitar playing, or the drums, or whatever instrument you take on. Maybe it's multiple instruments. And then there's a part where you go, okay, I'm pretty good. Now I need to be a little bit of a showman because we're entertaining, right? And then you start figuring that part out. And then you get where you got all the tools you need, and now you got to be a businessman. So how are you navigating that portion of the industry?
It is different for me because, like you said, I'm doing the songwriting, I'm doing the arreglos, all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So I'm breaking my head with that. But then, like you said, exactly, then you have to be a businessman because you have to set up your bookings, you have to meet with people, you have to have contracts, everything. Because, gracias a Dios, I've been doing this. I want to say since I was like 17, 18 years old, professionally. And I say professional because I say cuando te pagan ya, you're a professional. Yeah. Whether it's $10, $20, whatever. But
you probably picked up a guitar at 5, so.
Unfortunately, I picked it up a little bit later. I wish I would have picked it up at 5. That would have been great. But no. Unfortunately, hold on, I lost my train of thought. Yeah. So what I was gonna say is, thankfully, I've never missed a gig or anything like that. But it is difficult, man, when you have to do all the parts. Yeah. And I've tried to bring on people to help me out, and things happen, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, sometimes they're worse than you or whatever it might be, and so you kind of have to kind of get it back and keep going. But lately, as far as balancing wise, for one, my wife helps me out a lot.
Oh, good.
So yes, if it wasn't for her, no, I'm gonna forget it. But big shout out to my wife, Rene Ramirez. Yes. But either ways, man, it's one of those things where you balance it the best you can, and you're learning as you go. Because nobody knows everything, ¿verdad? And sometimes you think, oh, I got this, I got it now, I figured it out, and then you run into something that you've never would have even dreamt of or anticipated, and now you got to figure that out.
I guess that's the hard part is you want to do things preemptively. You want to be ahead of the game, but you don't even know what's in the water, right? You don't even know what the potential hazards are yet.
Exactly, because you've never been there. Yeah. Pero la cosa es, speaking of that,
it does that.
Okay, I'm sorry. No tener miedo, right?
Yeah.
If you're gonna do it, do it. Because if you don't, pues se va a pasar el tiempo, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically where I was at. I told you earlier, I was truck driving and I was hearing my friends on the radio and on. And I'm like, no, man, because that music, it's just something that's, if it's inside your blood, you just gotta do shows. You gotta gig. You gotta express yourself. I don't know what it is, but I love it. And it's just, so yeah, I decided one day, I said, you know what? I'm not getting any younger. Le voy a dar 100%.
Got you, yeah.
Gracias a Dios, I was able to connect with Freddie Records. And I had been doing music for a while. I was with Hacienda Records, Latin World Records. I've recorded other music. But with a Freddie Records, it's just like a whole nother level, man.
How long have you been with Freddie?
I started in 2017. We started negotiation, but talks. Yeah. Like, how you doing? Yes, sir. Do you write? Yes, sir, I write. What more or less? I sent him a little song. You heard it? Well, that's good. Can you give me a demo? All that good stuff, right? Yeah. It just goes to. And then one day, Mark called me and said, you know what? I heard the demo. I like it. It's a little rough, but I see something there. And those were his words. He told me.
Yeah.
He told me in español, ¿verdad? Pero I'm just paraphrasing. Sure. Pero he said, trae algo, right? He goes, ¿tienes más canciones así? And I told him, and I'm going to sound cocky and stupid, but I said, man, I got 100 of them, bro. I did. Now I'm more laid back, man. Yeah. At that time, I was like 100%. I'm like, I got this, Now I'm
Mark was like, he's got 10.
Exactly. I should have said 500. That way it would have been like, he's got 20.
Yeah, he did.
Pero no, como que era, I finally got into sign the contracts and everything, and I'll never forget. And we're upstairs, and they got this big table. I think maybe Lucky Joe has done a couple videos when the Sala La Mesa esa, where I think where he's signing. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was too. I signed right there también. Y está la mesa grandota, right? And Mark was talking to me, and he goes, sí, pues estamos interesados because we like the fact that you write.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I appreciate the fact that you like that, right? And he goes, pero like, are you like a songwriter that writes a song like right now you'll write me a song, or you're a songwriter that I gotta wait 3 months for you to come up with a song? And I said, well, if you hear a drop of water, and I hear, mi amor, Es un constante. Right? Like, I hear music.
Yeah, sure.
And I don't remember what I sang for him that day because I just made it up on the spot. But he said, "Oh, that's good." And so I was allowed to sign and everything. And but I'm not gonna say the rest is history because we're still working on it. Pero I mean, we're here, and we already got I talked to Mark. I don't know if I'm supposed to spill the beans or not, but he already gave me the green light for the next album already.
Awesome.
Yes, sir. So I'm already gathering material for that. But I did tell him on this next album que quería a little bit more material de otros compositores, right?
Okay.
Other songwriters, just to, I mean,
keep it fresh.
Yes, you never know what's out there, right? So,
well, it's like everything else. You got to constantly learn, and you're not gonna.
It's because I had 10 songs, bro.
Now you're gonna have 100. But you got to constantly be learning, and I think a lot of times people think they're so concerned.
Yeah,
oh, absolutely, man. Open whatever you want. You want one of these Celsius? Are good.
No, I'm good with this. I just need to wet the whistle, like they say.
Yeah. But like I was saying, we learn from each other, and I think a lot of people are so concerned about there not being enough room at the top. But it's like, dude, as long as you're sharing and you're learning off each other, there's plenty of room, man.
There's room for everybody, my friend. Everybody. My dad would always say, en este negocio hay lugar para todos. Y lo que no hay lugar para es envidia, dijo. But my dad said a lot of brilliant things that, I wish I would have wrote everything down, he said, because at the time, como dices tú, you're like, dad, come on,
Yeah.
I'm cool. I listen to MTV. I'm the one, right? But
we think we know it all.
We think we know,
but he's actually, our parents actually lived it.
Oh, yeah, they've lived it, and they're trying to tell us for our own good. Yeah. So if anybody out there that's young and is listening, listen to your parents, porque they're telling you for your own good. Not because they want to be mean or anything like that. And you know what? Es un consejo que te dan consejos is something beautiful because unfortunately not everybody gets that.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, and that's just the reality.
This portion of the podcast is brought to you by The Modern Movement. Go see my buddy, Justin Reina. He's a chiropractor at The Modern Movement. They specialize in rehabilitation, chiropractic, fitness, and soft tissue care. To book an appointment, go to newarrowwellnesscenter.com. They're out of San Antonio area, and the good folks over there get you taken care of. So tell me about the fellas. Tell me about the band. Where are all these guys from? How'd you meet them? I'll tell you something cool that I saw last night. I was watching on Netflix. There's a documentary called Becoming Led Zeppelin. And have you seen it yet?
I saw it, but I haven't checked it out. I've been so busy, man. I was gonna check it out, but I just been so busy.
It's really good. It's probably 2 hours long. But
it's not like a series.
No.
Okay,
it's just
usually like a series. That's why.
It's just a one long movie.
I gotta check it out.
But there's a part in there where Robert Plant says something, and I'm gonna screw it up, but I'm gonna try and make it sound real romantic. But he talked about how all the guys kind of Robert Plant and John Bonham. They kind of knew each other. They're friends. They played in a few bands together, but they weren't together in a band. Same thing for Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. They kind of recorded like studio sessions together, but they weren't really in a band. But there's a part in the show where they're finally hitting big, right? And Robert Plant says, what was crazy was Led Zeppelin was always there. It was different parts. They were in different places. We just needed it to come together. But, John Paul Jones was already doing great things. Jimmy Page was, John Bonham. And Robert Plant was homeless. He's like, but we just needed Led Zeppelin to come together, but it was always there.
It was always there. It just needed to.
How do you feel about your guys? Is it something similar where, have you always been together? Or is this something where, hey, we finally came together and it's starting to work out? Or?
What's crazy is... first, let me tell one story because I'm gonna say how old I am right here.
Oh no, because you already said we're the same age. So go ahead, you're gonna screw it up for both of us.
Yeah, my bad, brother. But it's gonna lead into what I have to say. My guys are younger than me, but they're young guys, and I tell them, man, bros, I was alive when the internet was invented, and they're like, oh, like freaking out, right? But it's funny you say that because I did tell them one time, you know what, bros, I was waiting for you guys to be born, bro. And I told them that, So yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I said I waited my whole life for you guys to be born. I said, and now that we're all together, brother, let's do this. That's a true story that I told them that because sometimes I say dumb things like that just because, but just to show them that that's how much I appreciate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just going back. introduce them real quick. On the drums, I have Mr. Adan Vela Jr., who also, man, the super talented guy, plays the drums, sings segunda. He sang on this album. He plays accordion. He played accordion on this album as well. He writes. He wrote a song, co-wrote a song with me on this album as well. Or I should say I co-wrote a song with him because it was the same thing like my brother. He had a verse and I was like, let me just put this there. And so we co-wrote a song together. Very talented guy, Mr. Adan Vela Jr. Seguro que sí. Big shout out to him. Y la familia Vela, of course. Y luego,
where's he from?
He's from San Diego, Texas. My bad. Los Vaqueros, seguro que sí. Y luego on the bass, I have Mr. John David Zarate, very talented guy también, sings country music, plays bass, plays bajo, plays electric guitar, writes, all that good stuff. Is very talented, man. So I've always said, I want to be the guy in the band that sucks. Yeah, so because I always feel like I could step it up.
Yeah.
So I want to be the worst one. I want to learn from them, and I feel like they've taught me a lot. You know, I might be older than them and stuff, but they're talented, very talented. Luego on the accordion.
And where's he from?
Oh yes, I'm glad you.
I'm hung up on this. Where they from? Because I'm
you're
from George West,
right.
so I love it.
From Falfurrias, Texas.
Okay.
I mean Freer, Texas.
Freer, Texas.
Yes,
Duval County.
Yes, sir. Freer, Texas. Luego we got Mr. Fidencio Treviño on the accordion, and he also plays accordion, plays the bajo, plays the bass. I can't get him to sing yet, but I know he can.
Is he shy?
He's shy. He really is. He really is shy. He's one of those guys that he's more reserved. You'll never hear him raise his voice. He's very kickback. But I'll tell you what, right now, a better guy than that you're not gonna find, man. I mean, ese vato, si te dice he'll be there, bro.
Yeah.
And if he tells you, yes sir, no sir, whatever it is, believe him because it's what it is. So no, man, I love my band, right? They're my brothers, in otras palabras.
Yeah.
Y luego también.
Wait, where's he from?
Oh yes. He's originally from Freer.
Okay.
Freer, Texas, también ahí con John David. They actually knew each other, como dices tú. Mm-hmm. They've known each other. They played around, but they never had come together.
And Freer's a small town.
Yes.
Sun and rattlesnakes, man.
That's it, pretty much. And chaparros, that's it, nopales. Pero, he lives currently in Beeville, Texas.
Okay.
Big shout out to all the people in Beeville, Texas. I was just over there doing radio interviews in Beeville and Victoria. And, oh, man, they treated me like very nicely.
Hey, did they buy you Bill Millers?
They sure did it.
All right.
Hey, I wasn't done, bro. I wasn't done.
All right.
Pero you know what, bro? Either ways, and he, like I said, is a great guy. And then I got to give a shout out to my brothers también. First of all, my brother Roger Ramirez, the one that plays with Ricky Naranjo Los Gamblers, he actually helped me on this project. He came in and sang Segunda with me, and also, lent a song to the project. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm very thankful to him for coming and doing that. Pero también, at the same time, I want him to experience that también. Like, I'm here, I want you to check it out, bro. I love you, come on, check it out. And he's very talented too. Like, I don't even have to say, he plays the bajo, sings segunda. Amazing musician. And then my other brothers, ¿verdad? My brother Randy Ramirez and my brother Joe and Benny Ramirez, ¿verdad? También a big shout out to my family, todos los primos y primas. Anybody who's watching this that knows me, man, thank you guys for tuning in and checking out the podcast. Solo que, man, that's basically where we're at.
How's there so much talent, man?
There's a lot of talent. It's everywhere. It's just what you do with it. Like, there's people that are super talented, but they just don't care. They don't want to play music. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that because they got that talent and it's just easy. And then there's people that are so hungry for it that they'll work and work and work. My buddy
these are small communities, man. Little bitty.
Oh, yeah.
When you talk about Freer or San Diego or even Alice is, granted for the area, Alice is bigger, but, Beeville's decent. I mean, it's probably about the size of Alice. They're not big communities, and to have such talented people.
And I believe it has to do a lot with eating rattlesnake. No, I'm just playing. No, I believe it has to do a lot. I'm sorry, I should have gone there, guys. Sorry, but I believe it has a lot to do with.
It's barbecuing with mesquite wood, is what it is.
Maybe. I think that when you're out there and it's kind of boring,
yeah,
you got to pick up an instrument and figure something out.
Well, when you think about growing up, and y'all probably did the same thing. Your son, everybody's kids. They're probably not gonna do this.
Oh no!
But we grew up sitting out in the ranch, drinking underage drinking
with fire,
burning fire, hanging on a shovel, and somebody was picking a guitar, and it's like I feel like there was a time, our generation wise, and it has to be past our generation because you got young guys still doing it. Right. But it's like those communities, there's not a lot to do, man. So, like I said, my hometown, there's a lot of drugs now. But outside of that, it's like, what do you do? You know, there's not a whole lot, I guess, of opportunity for young people to do things when they live in those really small towns.
Yeah.
You know, so taking up something artistically is a great alternative. And when you got a lot of time, I guess that's an avenue for that. So that's a blessing.
It is a blessing. Yeah. And like I said, I mean, you could be doing something worse, right?
Sure.
You know, puede andar robando, como dice mi hermano, ¿verdad? Vergüenzas que te pesquen robando, vergüenzas que te pesquen, tú sabes, haciendo algo mal. No tengas vergüenza subirte al stage.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That shouldn't be vergüenza.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's one of those things, you know. I mean, and like I said, I'm getting a little personal here, but I that's how I feel, you know. I feel like if you got the talent to do it, and I always do that. Bands that are coming up, I'll never put them down, and I'll always try to uplift them, whether they're super talented or not super talented. Because I always say, if you have the balls to get on stage in front of people, you already made it in my book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're already in my book. You're cool.
You know what's funny is I always felt like when my friends and family would pay me a compliment, I felt like I finally did something because they were the most critical SOBs on the planet.
Yes. Hey,
the biggest haters I got have the same blood as me.
Yes. My mom was my biggest critic.
I love them though.
I loved my mom too. She was my biggest critic. Every song I showed her, she'd be like, "Oh, está bonita, pero." So I'd be like, "Okay," and so but that kept me going.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "The next one, Mom, you're gonna love it." Until I finally wrote one that she loved, and I kind of want to play it, but I better not because
you can hold on to it for that. It's up to you.
I was thinking about it.
I want you to do whatever you want to do. This is your show today.
No, I'm cool because I think I'm gonna put this one on the next album.
Well, don't play it then.
Yeah,
Save
I better
it.
not. I better not. Pero yeah, she finally
there was one calling me tomorrow.
Yes, right. There was one that she finally loved, and I felt like I was on top of Mount Rushmore, or you know, I had reached the summit and put the flag, and I was like, yes, but no, but it's a beautiful thing because hey, nobody else is gonna tell you the truth, but you know what I'm saying? The people that really care about you and love you, right? And so she was telling me, and it helped me grow and change and try different things, and then at one point I was like, I'm gonna do it how I want to, Mom.
Yeah.
But still, she would still tell me, no, si están bonitas, right? But this or whatever, and then I'd fix it. Yeah. And you know, but she was my biggest critic, but I think
as an artist, the worst thing you can have is somebody who's not honest, not critiquing you honestly, right? Like, and that's what I think where a lot of times people get upset is they take a critique as a complete negative thing. And it's not. It's an opportunity for people outside of yourself to say, hey, try this. Right. And it may upset you, but as an artist, you got to at least explore it. You may come back to the original, but you got to go, let me go explore that and see what that is. And a lot of times something good can come from it. So.
Oh, yeah. And most definitely. It's just a matter of taking it with a grain of salt, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Because if you take everybody serious, como decía mi papá, si yo me enojara con todos y haber peleado con todo el pueblo, con todo el mundo, you know.
Well, that happens when you're young, right?
Yeah, you can't take everything serious because you're going to strap it on with everybody, right? You're going to get into a fight with everybody.
So tell me something. As far as you guys getting together and practicing and rehearsing, how is this summer going to be busy for the band, or where are y'all going to be playing this summer? Where can people see y'all?
Right now, we're going to start rehearsing because we're actually going to be going to Monterrey, Mexico.
Oh, wow.
July 19th, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to be doing a big festival over there, and then they got us.
That's
if that works out good, they're going to get us back in November and possibly December. And so, yeah, no, we got a lot of stuff coming up. And then plus we got the new project that we're going to start working, getting that album. So we'll be definitely doing a lot of rehearsing.
When are y'all going to start getting in the studio for that here in the summer? Or
I'm not too sure because Mark said in about 2 months, he said start thinking about the material and all that. So it's a process, ¿verdad?
Is that one of those things where you really want to show up? Is that one of those things where it's kind of like, okay, let's start getting our ducks in a row? Or is that one of those things where you want to show up with like 10 songs ready to roll and we're just tweaking?
Well, that's ideal. That would be the ideal thing to do, just show up and everybody's perfect. And Mark always tells me, make sure you come in well rehearsed and all that, which we do, but there's always little things there, and you're in the studio, so it's like you have an opportunity to really, get into it. And so, yeah, we do that. And we'll, like, yeah, I know it goes like this, but let's try it like this. And gracias a Dios, we have that luxury there at Freddie Records, and they give us that opportunity to experiment and mess around and come up with our music. And yeah, man, that's what we do. We basically will go in there, and sometimes, unfortunately, I've been in there and we're going to record one song, and then I'm like, I start singing a song. They're like, what's that? And I'm like, I wrote that the other day. They're like, well, let's mess with that. And boom, we'll record that one, you know? So, but it's a beautiful thing, man.
Well, you never know what's going to take off, right?
Yeah, you never know.
You never know what
exactly.
you're going to make. Is studio time, and this is just for me, just trying to understand it, studio time something where it's real structured and you've got a time frame, or is it kind of like, hey, studio's open all day, let's go play kind of thing?
Well, if it's my day, then the studio's open all day, and let's do it. But you gotta remember, I got Ellie that we have, you know,
sure.
Lucky, many other artists that you know, I'm way down here, you know. So they have their time, and then I get my scheduled time, and we go in and we do our thing, and we try to not waste Freddie's Records time, because I mean they who does the engineering? They do it, right? They do all the recording and engineering, and our engineer that we've been using is Mr. Eli Molina. He's very talented. Also plays keyboard, sings, segunda.
Oh, if he's Molina, he's got to be amazing.
Yeah, you're right. That's right. We'll go in there and we'll record our music, and they do the mixing and the mastering, and that's basically how we work it, man. But right now it's one of those things where I'm just excited, like literally, like I have to pinch myself, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because it's one of those things where sometimes I'm standing there and I'm like, this is where Ramon Ayala stands. You know what I'm saying? And this is where Jimmy Gonzalez would sing and
when I
play.
talked to Mark, it was like Freddie Records has been a heavy hitter for years, you know?
Yes,
and when I was doing some research to record with Mark, like you go through the list of artists that they had, and it's literally almost everybody, you know? And so to be able to be a part of that, and there's got to be, even just being in the atmosphere has to contribute something, you know? So that's pretty cool, man.
After a while, man, you start to kind of believe it. You're like, I am supposed to be here. You're like,
are you there right now where you don't feel?
I was still like, is this? But now I'm this is my destiny, bro. This is my thing, and then I'm just going through the motions because it's already God has already established it.
It's predetermined, man.
Predetermined, my friend. I just had to accept that.
Yeah.
I had to accept that, and I give that advice to everybody. What you want is predetermined. You just have to accept it and let God do it for you, and leave it in His hands. I'm not saying I'm gonna lay in bed and not do nothing because God's gonna.
No, you still gotta do your part.
You gotta do your part, porque hay un chiste, ¿verdad? Estaba el río crecido, right? Y estaba un señor arriba de la casa, en el techo de la casa, y decía, Diosito, por favor, save me, rescue me, Diosito, por favor. Y de repente, viene un helicopter. Sir, they drop a ladder. He's like, no. God's gonna save me, ¿verdad? Y se va. Y luego un powerboat, right? Súbete. No. God's gonna save me, ¿verdad? Pues the water kept rising, and eventually the gentleman drowned.
Yeah.
Y cuando llegó al cielo, ¿verdad? He said, God, why didn't you save me? He said, pues te mandé un helicopter. Te mandé un barco. You know? You literally want me to reach down and grab you, you know? So you got to also do your part.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot of people that it's like, you've got to have faith. You've got to have faith in yourself, and you have to have faith in God. But at the same time, you got to do your part, you know? And that's the thing that I think a lot of people, I don't know, I can say ignore, but missed the boat on, right, so to speak.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, exactly what you said. You know, the opportunities were there.
Right.
Did you jump in them? You know, did you jump in the boat? And it's like, well, no, I didn't. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's where I miss a lot of things. A lot of times I sit there and I expect to be moved by something.
You
it's like
overanalyze. That's my problem.
Yeah, I do that too.
Overanalyze. Yeah. And by the time I'm done analyzing, the opportunity's gone. Yes. So now, like I said, I jump on it. I'll take those opportunities when they come. And from it, anybody, you know, if like you were talking about your friend, Mr. Salceda, ¿verdad? Big shout out to your camarada Sonny.
Yeah, Sonny.
And he says, I'll shake everybody's hand because you never know where that's going to lead you. And it's the truth. It's the absolute truth. Porque nunca sabes quién te puede ayudar en este mundo. Y también muchas veces the things that you think are guaranteed and you're like, oh, that's guaranteed, I got it. It's not guaranteed because nobody knows what's going to happen, ¿verdad? And that I say because when I first signed with Freddie Records, I had another guy playing the bass, ¿verdad? And we were supposed to go record, and it was like, oh yeah, we're going to go record. It's guaranteed. Well, he got killed in an accident literally 2 days or 3 days before we were going to go to the studio.
Yeah.
He was pulling a stump with a tractor, and instead of pulling it in reverse, he was pulling it forward, and the tractor flipped and killed him instantly.
Man.
Frankie Gloria, que en paz descanse. Great musician.
Jeez.
A great friend, man.
I'm not being pain. Where's he from?
Originally he's from Mathis, Texas.
Okay.
Pa' que mires, ahí, little area right there, mucho
Yeah.
talento and all that South Texas hub, all the way from Three Rivers and George West, all the way down.
It's the mesquite trees, man.
Yeah, I think so, man.
You know what's funny little story, and I'm probably a liar, but this is what I read once, that a mesquite tree is not native to South Texas.
Really? I've never heard that.
It used to be all plains grass. But
Now that sounds...
the cows
legit.
coming from Mexico would eat the pods in Mexico, and they would poop heading up to Kansas or heading up to Fort Worth. And that's how we ended up with mesquite trees.
On the cattle drives.
On the cattle drives. Yeah.
Well,
And I tell you what, when you barbecue, you better put some mesquite wood in there,
It's
man.
the best. I mean, imagine what would it be like without brisket and all mesquite smoked brisket? I mean,
Yeah.
So thank you, cows.
Thank you, Cal.
Thank you, cattle drivers, I should say. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where everything has a story, an origin story. I'll tell you what, I mean, I know we're getting off topic, we're music and all that, but have you heard that saying, Saved by the Bell?
Yeah.
Okay, you know where that originally came from? Well, back in the day, okay, two things. You've heard of Graveyard Shift.
Yeah.
Okay, Graveyard Shift was actually a graveyard shift. That's where it came from. But not too many people know this. Back in the day, there was something going on donde la gente where they would pass away, but then they would wake up. Because there was something, and it ended up being the material they were using in the cups. It was some kind of mercury-based something, and what it would do, it would put people into a coma, and it was very similar to like if they had passed away. So they had people waking up at their velorios and stuff, or you know what I'm saying. So what they ended up doing is they created the graveyard shift. And a guy would sit in the middle of the graveyard, and everybody who had just got buried had a string with a bell, which is Saved by the Bell.
Oh, really?
Right. So if you woke up in your casket,
They dig you back up?
and that guy working the graveyard shift was supposed to go get you and pull you out.
Man.
And that's where those two turns. So that's what I'm saying. Everything comes from something.
You ever heard of the phrase, the whole 9 yards?
Yeah, sure.
So I heard once
The whole 9 yards.
that, I guess it was World War II, the magazines that the bullets would come in that were in the planes were 9 yards long.
Give 'em
So
the
when they give them the whole 9 yards.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is
It's been
amazing.
everywhere.
Yeah, no, hey, dude, I never knew that. That's hey, you know, it's just an educational podcast as well.
Yeah, we cover everything.
Yeah,
man.
you want to know about dinosaurs? I'm just playing, guys.
So did we land on the moon? No, I'm joking.
I don't know. We're gonna go
That's
into
a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other podcast. We gotta have that X-Files music for that one. Yeah.
I'll add it to the podcast.
Yep. Hey, you never know.
So what do you have coming up here in the next month or so? Y'all got any live gigs? Or?
Yes, we got a lot of private stuff coming up, and we want to do. I'm setting up a few CD release parties ahí locally.
Okay.
Where I'm from because, I just want to I want to make everybody happy. I don't know. I guess.
Sure.
So I want to do a big show and put out, for the music for the new album. But mostly we got a lot of private stuff going on, and like I said, ahorita andamos buscando, like, how can I explain? The next that que cambie
the next
cambios.
gear.
Yes, the next gear, and that's where we're at, and but we're ready, and all we can do is be prepared and be rehearsed, and así na cuando ya pase ese cambio, the next cambio, vámonos, pata abajo, you know what I mean?
It's good, man.
So yeah, that's our philosophy, and like I said, I have these guys, and they're great guys, and they all work, and and everybody has to, but it's like that music, man. We gotta go out there and perform.
Well, that's where y'all's heart is, man. You know, your heart isn't always in your 9 to 5.
No,
right?
no. Of course.
That's how you pay the bills.
That's
but the
how you
heart
pay the
is in your skill and your art. So,
Amen.
I mean, that's huge.
Right.
Y'all got a website or y'all social media or how does all that work?
I'm starting to do all that
Because I looked for you and I didn't find you.
You know, a lot of people tell me that. We do have Facebook. It's under Rene Ramirez y Maduro.
Okay.
And then TikTok, Instagram. But
Same name?
Rene Ramirez y Maduro.
Okay.
I just have not been very active at it because I'm old and I don't understand. But I'm starting to learn, guys.
Yeah.
And I'm actually starting to like it.
Yeah.
I like it, man. Even Mark told me. Mark was like, sí, pues entre más te va a comenzar a gustar. I said, Mark, I think it's already happening.
Mark's a little slow to the game too because he wasn't on Instagram for a while and then he popped up.
Well, that's crazy because compared to me, he's like Einstein. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's cool? And this is one thing that I think is super important. Guys like us, we've been our age group.
Right.
We were there when things were analog, and we were here now that things are digital. And so the difference between us and our parents and maybe the kids is that time period between the 70s to today, like technology has changed drastically and in a hurry. You know, the things that were around when my dad was a kid to when he was older didn't change very much.
Right.
Things for us have been lightning speed.
Instantly, yeah.
So like us, we were there when social media was like a fad and people used it to just kind of show off where they went and what they bought. And so a lot of us go, social media is whatever. Now it's literally a tool. It's a networking tool.
It's become engraved in, because my son doesn't know what it is not to have internet and social media.
And it's probably where he gets all his information.
Yeah.
You know? So for guys like us, we really got to jump on it and push it. And I'll tell you what, I post everything. And when I told you about starting the podcast, you know, when my brother Eddie passed away, we weren't big picture takers as kids. You know, maybe y'all were the same way. I don't know.
I never.
And so when Eddie died, the only thing that I had picture-wise was what he had posted on social media. And so I screenshotted everything because I didn't have anything. And so after that, I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna post everything. I don't care if it's something a friend did successfully, I'm gonna screenshot it and post it. If it's mine, if it's something I'm thinking, I'm putting it all here. Because when I do die, people can come here and see what I was like. Right?
Amen.
It's almost like I always use the phrase digital photo album.
Pretty much.
You know?
Exactly. Yes, sir.
But for guys like you and then the podcast, it's an avenue to network with people, you know, and instantly, hey, we're going to be here, we're going to do that. So, yeah, we drag our feet, right? But at the same time, it's like, oh, man, we got to do it. We got to do it.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So
for me, it's like pulling teeth. But, you know, it's becoming something that I'm seeing the power of it.
Sure.
And before, like you said, I was like, social media.
Yeah, it's for kids.
That's not for me, right? And I really was like that. And that's bad because I'm always preaching to people and telling people you got to be open-minded. Yeah. And yet I was
you got to be open-minded, not me.
Yeah, exactly, right. Pero no, you know, and a lot of it has to do with... and I'm not gonna with Mark, man. He's the one that has been encouraging me, and he got after me the other day, as Mark gets at very politely.
Yeah.
But he told me you got to step up your game. It's part of your job.
Yeah.
And I said yes, sir, because you just told me I got a job.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do this. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to step up my game. I'm not trying. I'm gonna step up my game, and I want to interact with the people, and you know. You want to talk to me? I'm available.
Yeah.
In San Antonio, I think I gave my phone number out. I don't know how many times. Today I was getting calls from insurance companies and all stuff. I said I don't know if it's because I gave out my number, but I don't care. You know.
All my phone calls are spam risk. All of them.
No, so you know, it's just one of those things.
Let me tell you what. When you do get everything set up, go follow Sonny, man.
Oh yeah.
And I tell you why.
Actually, I think I might be following him. I think somehow I think I'm following him.
He's got a good grasp on using it as a network tool.
Right.
And it's funny because like I had his daughter on and we were talking and I said, you know, there's times where he'll post the same thing 3 times in a row. And I'll ignore the first 2, but then I'll watch the third one. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's not a vanity thing.
Right.
It's a tool. This is your job.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And your job requires you to network and get as many eyes as possible. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, you can sit there and go, well, people want attention. There's always going to be people who hate on people, right?
Always.
But it's this thing. It's kind of like this podcast, right?
Yes, sir.
When I first started it, I was kind of an idiot, right? I said, it was my digital scrapbook, right? So in the beginning, to me, it was like, you and me are the important parts. The listeners are less important, mm-hmm. right? Because I was trying to capture a conversation in a moment so I could have it for the future. And then I had enough stories of people who had endured things and been through things. And that's when it clicked for me. And it was like, no, I have a responsibility to make sure as many people as possible hear that story.
Wow.
Right? Yep. And it's the same thing with your music. You have a responsibility to share your music and your art, and not just your art, but the art of the four or five guys behind you, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's like, okay, now when you view it that way, it's no longer, I'll do it when I can. It's like, oh man, I need to do it now, mm-hmm. you know, because it's not just me sharing my stuff. I'm sharing everybody's stuff
right
here. And it takes on a whole new feeling, you know.
Does,
and
yes.
You start to treat it more like a job. And like I was telling you earlier about my buddy Chuck. That guy's a machine. I don't know when he sleeps. Last night he had posted this spreadsheet that he put together because he's writing his own code for his light show behind him.
Uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's like I sit there and I go, it's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work.
But you know what? That's where his passion is. That's where your passion is.
Yes.
And it's like when you're doing that thing. You know, it's that saying where everybody says, when you do what you love, you never work a day. And it's like, I don't know if I believe that, because I could find something I love and I'd turn it into a job and I'd hate it, right? But for some people, it's like, man, this is how I pay the bills. This is how I share my art. This is how I share the talent of the guys with me, you know? And when you take it on that way, you start to see it differently. You go, oh, man, this is very important now. You know, so I'm excited for you, man. How many albums do you guys have out?
This is our second one with Freddie Records.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And tomorrow, actually, we're going to be releasing the new single, Mentiras. It's going to be available on all digital platforms, ¿verdad? And, of course, you call your favorite radio stations and request it también. Pero we're very excited about it. It's one of the songs that has been getting a lot of airplay up in Mexico, and we hope that it starts to do. Well, you know, I don't use that word anymore. I don't hope anymore. I know that it's gonna do well here también.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What about CDs and merch? How can people get that?
Well, to do that, you can literally go directly to me. You can call me 361-678-1661, or you can reach me at my on Facebook and all that, or you can go to Freddie Records store. And they'll definitely have something there for you.
Okay, awesome.
And as far as merchandise, I'm doing all that right now, and everything. Like I said, it's getting en serio.
Yeah.
And all the good things are starting to happen. And I just got to thank God for that. But I got to do my part.
Yeah.
So I will have merchandise and all that stuff. I have some, ¿verdad? But I want to have some good stuff. I'm already working on that right now, and. Not that the stuff I have is not good, but you know what I mean.
Sure.
I'm getting it out there more. I'm just getting prepared.
And I think people need to also understand that, like, when you guys put out music, like tomorrow, mm-hmm. right?
Yes, sir.
When you guys put out music and it comes out on Spotify or wherever it is, if you like it, subscribe, click the heart, share it, because all that helps you guys in the algorithm to get seen more. It helps me too, right?
Right.
And it's like when people go, what can I do? Because, you want people to buy merchandise, you want people to buy albums, but really a lot of people listen digitally. Let me tell you, I'm an idiot, man. I watched that Led Zeppelin show yesterday, and then I spent $60 on Led Zeppelin albums downloaded from Apple iTunes. Right. That's just how I am. But a lot of people.
Hey, I'm like that. I used to be a kid, and I watch a karate movie, then I go outside and fight karate for like 3 hours. So it happens.
Mine comes from probably our childhood, where I screwed over Columbia House, and I feel guilty ever since.
For the penny. It was like $1 for 50 CDs. I never sent them the dollar.
They had the most teenagers on debt consolidation than any other company on the planet. but realistically, if it's our iHeartRadio or if it's Spotify,
right.
Like it, share it, do all that stuff,
yes,
because
sir.
That's the new currency, right?
Yes, it is.
And so people need to understand that, yes, it's one thing to listen to it, and it's one thing to listen to the whole song, because they do all that stuff. But the new currency is liking and sharing and hearting things. The amount of time that you listen to that song, that's the new currency, man,
yes,
which
sir.
is weird. So
it's different.
It's different.
But it might be weird for me and you, but I think like the people that are like that know nothing else.
Yeah.
That's it. You know what I mean? Like my son, big shout out to my son. He's 14 years old, Caleb Ramirez, and he told me, Dad, why didn't I have a choice? I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, why didn't I have a choice? I want CDs and I want albums. Why did they not give me a choice? And I was like, I never thought of it that way. Like, why didn't the other generations get a choice? They just did away with it, and it was digital now.
Yeah.
And they want that. He loves the artwork. Like I tell everybody, he loves to hold the CD. Not my CD, unfortunately, but you know what I'm saying? What he likes, and he's all into it, and he'll read it, and he'll look at it. And like you said, if it's brand new, he'll put it away. And, and that was something that I would do with baseball cards, with, so...
That's
they
the crazy
didn't get a
thing.
chance, bro. They didn't give him a chance.
It's the tangible, right?
Right.
And it's like
it's in your hand.
We're old, right? Compared to some people, we're old.
Right.
But it's like we were there for 8-tracks. We were there for the
cassettes.
Albums, the cassettes, the little mini DVDs, the bigger DVDs. And then all of a sudden, it went digital, and it's like there was nothing greater. I remember being a kid, going to Walmart and buying tapes.
Yes.
And you got to look at the art. You got to open it up. You read the songs and you see the credits.
And you'd be doing it while you were listening to the music.
Yes.
You'd be like, yeah. And it was beautiful. Yeah, it was a wonderful thing.
It's similar to how I see you on stage, right? It's like what people don't understand are the layers to it. The layers to purchasing this CD, right? And it's like, okay, well, let me tell you, one of the best parts is taking the plastic off.
Right. Yeah.
But you have the art, and all this is you guys. This is your vision. And from everything, from the font to the color to, the pictures you guys took, all that stuff is part of the artist. And it's like, it gets lost, man.
It just get lost in the digital because, and then another thing too, I think, and this is just my personal opinion. I might be, like you said, I might be dumb and I'm stupid or whatever, but I feel like when you're looking through your CDs and you're like, oh crap, I hadn't heard this one. And you put it on while you're looking for the one you were looking for. And that keeps that music going. But with the digital stuff, unless you just leave it on play and it plays all your stuff, if you got 2,000 songs, you're going to listen to the ones that you most recently got. Yeah. You'll never go back hardly ever to the old stuff. And I think, when you go through the CDs or whatever and you're looking for that, or remember the old flip?
The albums.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the CD
big,
cases.
the book.
Yeah, the big books. You'd be going through them and then you'd take one out and there was one behind it. You'd be like, what the dude?
Hey, you used to do that in front of the girls. That way, you were ignoring the girls, but you were not ignoring the girls.
Just show
and you
off.
sit there and you go through it and you pretend, and they just see you going through the album because they know you're in control of the radio. These kids don't know, man. And they're never going to hear this. They're never going to hear when you go through the albums.
Right,
man. They're missing out.
And my son said, why didn't I get a choice? Why didn't I get a choice? And it's true. Why, I mean, I know it's coming back somewhat, but I think it should have been, I think that it should be like it's a medium that, like, for example, I say if you have cars, right? And say the best car came out, but you're not going to stop making other kind of cars, right? So it's just an example. But CDs, I mean, yes, a different digital came out, but why stop making the CDs?
Sure.
At least offer them or something. But that's where I think the younger kids are missing out. But they're starting to catch on. And you know what? What happens is it's if there's demand.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. And that's one thing that's important is for younger people who really do want to have that experience, you got to do your work. You got to do your part, right?
Right.
It's like we are talking about God earlier. You still got to do your part.
You gotta do your
You know,
part.
find your local record store and go there.
Right.
You know, go buy things. Go
Yes.
buy albums. Request, hey, where can I get this? You know,
Right.
and if the money starts showing up, so will the product.
Exactly. That's correct.
Rene,
Exactly right.
I've really enjoyed myself.
I've had a blast, bro. And I forgot I was on a podcast. I really did, bro. I really did, bro.
Man, I appreciate the first hour that we had together. I appreciate this conversation. You know, I encourage people to look you guys up. Go to YouTube. Go to your Facebook. You know, look you guys up on the digital platforms as
And
well.
like I said, I'm gonna do better, guys. So
yeah,
we'll be there when you look for us this next time.
keep an eye out.
Yes, sir. Como
And
no?
I'll be sharing this with you as well. Can you close us out with a song, man?
Yeah, man. I know I played a song for you earlier,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an oldie. It's not one of my songs, ¿verdad? Pero, you know, I mean, I'm going to do this one anyways because it's kind of like a tribute to my dad también,
Okay.
and your dad as well. But this is a old school song, and it's a song that I learned from my dad también. Pero dice, if you pay attention to the words, I really love what it says. It said, ando escaso de dinero y yo no puedo comprar tus amores. Y aunque fuera un hombre rico, no gastar en comprar a las flores. Ahora tienes quien te pague los caprichos que siempre has tenido. Pero el día que no haya plata, vas a hacer lo que hiciste conmigo. Yo te quise, yo te amaba, y ahora solo te sé aborrecer, porque fuiste mala paga. Nunca más pensaré en tu querer. Y aunque fuera penitencia, por amor yo daría 1000 besos. And this is the part that I really love what it says. Que me quiera, pero no que me cobre los besos. Muy cierto, ¿no? Yo te quise, yo te amaba, y ahora solo te sé aborrecer, porque fuiste mala paga. Nunca más pensaré en tu querer. Eso.
Thank you, Rene.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my friend.
Rene Ramirez y Maduro. The album's Fuego. It's already out. He's got 2 albums with Freddie Records, another one on the way.
Yes, sir. We got 2 albums out, another one on the way. Be sure to look out for Mentiras. Mentiras, eres una mentirosa, muy bonita y peligrosa, y no te cansas de jugar. Mentira. It's a little piece, right? But yeah, it's coming and it'll be out tomorrow, available on all digital platforms as well as your favorite radio stations. So everybody, please look out for it. Gracias, amigos. And Gabe, thank you so much.
Absolutely, brother.
It was a blast, man.
Thank you, Rene.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody.
All right. God bless you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Gabe Molina Podcast.
Yo, Barry.